In the summer of 1996, the Robinson family, Mark, his wife Jane, and their two young children, decided to move into the abandoned house on Willow Street. The house was large, affordable, and seemed like the perfect place to start fresh. Despite the warnings from neighbors about the house's history, Mark brushed it off as mere superstition. From the moment they moved in, strange things began to happen. At night, Jane would hear the sound of footsteps coming from the attic, even though no one had been up there. The children complained about seeing shadows moving in the corners of their rooms. Mark tried to dismiss it, saying it was just the creaking of an old house settling. But one night, things took a terrifying turn. Jane woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of her daughter, Lily, screaming from her bedroom. When she rushed in, Lily was standing in the middle of the room, pointing to the closet, saying, "The lady in the white dress was here." Jane checked the closet, but there was nothing. However, a chill ran down her spine when she noticed something odd. Inside the closet, there were scratch marks on the back wall, as if someone had been clawing to get out. As the days passed, the activity in the house grew more intense. Objects would move on their own, doors would slam shut, and the children became more and more afraid to be alone in their rooms. Jane started digging into the house's history and found something shocking. In 1975, a woman named Margaret lived in the house with her 3 children. Margaret was going through a severe mental breakdown after her husband left her. Isolated from the outside world, she began to believe that her children were possessed by evil spirits. One night, in a fit of madness, she murdered all 3 of her children and buried them in the backyard. When the police arrived, Margaret was found in the attic, rocking back and forth, holding a doll and whispering to herself, "They're safe now." Margaret was taken to a psychiatric institution, but her children's bodies were never found. The house had been abandoned ever since, until the Robinsons moved in. After learning the truth, Jane became desperate to leave the house, but Mark insisted they couldn't afford to move again so soon. That decision would haunt them forever. One evening, while the family was having dinner, the lights in the house began to flicker. Suddenly, the power went out, plunging the house into darkness. The air became icy cold, and they all heard the sound of footsteps slowly descending from the attic. Before anyone could react, the front door flew open with a loud bang. A gust of wind rushed through the house, and they saw her, a woman in a tattered white dress, her face twisted in anguish. It was Margaret. Without a word, Margaret glided toward the children, her ghostly hand reaching out. Jane grabbed her kids and ran outside, screaming for Mark to follow. They didn't stop running until they reached the neighbor's house. The next morning, they packed their things and left the house for good. The Robinsons never spoke of what they saw that night, but Jane believed that Margaret's spirit was still trapped in that house, searching for the children she had lost in her madness.